Jackie, on the first day of the 2011 U.S. Sport Aviation Expo, where there's actually a pretty good crowd going. We're kind of excited about that. But it's, well, goodbye PiperSport.
Yeah, that would actually be a true statement. But you know, you're right. This is an exciting event. We're really impressed with the attendance. Even more so impressed with the attendance at the Piper exhibit. And certainly a lot of people asked us, well, why are you going to Sebring if you're going to discontinue the distribution of the PiperSport? But you know, it's about the airplane, but it's also about the light sport market segment, and it's exciting. It's a great opportunity for a lot of people, whether you're a manufacturer or you're a pilot or you're someone who's considering becoming a pilot. And that, of course, makes us excited. And, of course, certainly we're enthusiastic about it. So we're here to support that segment and also support our owners and our distributors of the PiperSport.
Biggest question is this. Have we seen the last of Piper in the LSA market?
You know, right now our focus is primarily managing the transition. Because certainly, as I mentioned, we really got to stay focused on the customers that purchase the aircraft and, of course, the distributors that have gotten involved with the product. So our focus right now is managing the transition and making sure that we do things right. We remain optimistic about the market segment. We've made no decisions regarding what we might do in the future regarding a light sport product.
What did you learn from this market? I mean, this has to have been drinking from the fire hose.
It certainly was, I think what we learned and what we found out to be so exciting was just the audience is so excited about this segment. They're excited about the products. They truly are enthusiasts, but they're also wanting to see more and more products. They embrace more involvement, they embrace more interest and excitement, and it's just certainly something that we were surprised and probably taken aback by how enthusiastic everybody was, and still is.
Oh, absolutely. And of course, you know, to a certain extent, it was an interesting masterstroke at a time when everybody was wondering which of the biggest GA manufacturers was next to take a dip into the LSA pool. And of course, you came up with an airplane that fit very nicely into the Piper product line.
Yeah, absolutely. I couldn't agree more. This is still, you know, great product, great airplane. We really have enjoyed the arrangement that we've had with CSA, but certainly, of course, we'll be moving on.
The beauty of the Release 9 system architecture is that you have two fully redundant integrated flight displays. Each has access to all the systems and data. Providing full redundancy and eliminating traditional reversionary modes, Release 9 allows either display to be configured as the PFD. Now your failure modes are much more manageable because you can continue to fly with the same familiar display symbology without the need to relearn composite modes you don't typically fly with. Avidyne's Integra Release 9 is truly the next generation in fully integrated flight deck technology.
Now, where are you hearing from the LSA segment that you work with? I mean, what was it that brought them to this product? What brought them to LSA? What have you learned from your customers?
Yeah, I think what we learned most importantly was the price point. People are wanting very much an airplane that is affordable, something that they can get into at a lower price point, a lower operating costs, and that can fit their needs. And of course, the light sports segment has some other attributes that of course are of interest to people. The medical requirements are slightly different, as we know, and that of course is of interest to a certain part of that audience. So those are kind of the feedback that we've gotten.
Well, from what Piper has learned from LSA over the last year as a production partner and so forth in this particular realm, what would you say to the FAA about the future of LSA? What would you like to see? Do we need more weight, more speed, more this, more that? I mean, what is it that LSA is providing that it needs a little bit more of?
You know, I think there's a lot of things. It's still a up-and-coming segment of the market, and certainly I think that there's a lot of aspects of that industry that need to be looked at. I think there's just, again, tremendous opportunity. Certainly I think we don't want to over-regulate it because we really need to keep in mind the barriers to entry. We don't want to make it so difficult where people then walk away and don't want to get into the marketplace. But certainly I know the FAA, as well as a lot of the other industry organizations, are closely monitoring the evolution of LSA, and I think if they closely monitor and they listen to the pilots and the OEMs, then I think they'll make smart and educated decisions about how to evolve the market segment, the regulations, and the products as we go forward.
The industry so far has been populated to a certain extent by mom and pop operations, small but very dedicated groups of people who have a great love for sport aviation. When Piper got involved and Cessna's been involved, and for a while there were rumors of Cirrus getting involved and not getting involved, then getting involved and not getting involved, and then who knows. Do you see a continuing role for the major manufacturers in this, or is this going to be, a mom and pop market primarily from here on out?
I think certainly there's room for all aspects. I think there's a aspect of the market that certainly can be very well supported by the OEMs, but I think there's also an audience that really gravitates towards the mom and pop type operations. I think a lot of these individuals have an affinity for that kind of business and how they started from the grassroots and they grew their businesses, and Americans especially really appreciate that. There's also a portion of the segment that really feels a little bit more comfortable with a product that's built with a large established OEM, and there's a comfort factor there. So I think there's room for both parties.
Freedom through performance. At Cirrus, performance is not simply the measurement of a single design parameter. Rather, it's a total package. It's optimum balance of speed, efficiency, comfort, safety, ease of flight, and quality. We call it Cirrus Flying 2.0. Aren't you ready to feel the freedom?
I think Piper's interest and Cessna's interest and a couple of others really added a lot of legitimacy to LSA that didn't exist before this.
Absolutely, and for a manufacturer like Piper that's very involved and supportive of the training industry, we're keenly aware of the cost for people to become pilots. And so we always are interested in ways to kind of lower that cost, lower the barriers to entry, because at the end of the day, we need pilots to want to fly our products, whether they start in a Warrior or they go to the Seminole or they step up to any of our M-class models and ultimately the Piper jet. So we really want to keep that in mind, and I think it's important that we all kind of be mindful of that.
Well, Jackie, we appreciate your time, and we have to tell you we're sorry to see this occur. Yeah. I realize that sometimes stuff just doesn't work, but we hope and urge Piper to keep their eye on the LSA market. We need you. You brought an awful lot of legitimacy to a market that needed the enhanced credibility that you brought to it, and frankly, come on back. Water's fine.
Thank you so much, and I appreciate your comments, and I have to tell you that the media as well as the industry organizations have been really supportive, and we're so appreciative of that. Our customers, of course, have been real supportive, and certainly they should know that we're going to work carefully through this transition with them in mind, and then once we get past this, then we'll evaluate where we are at that time.
Thanks so much.